Hi guys, welcome to another Rants video. Today we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh my gosh, guys, this movie was so great. Like, there are not a lot of really any Marvel movies that have come out lately that I have super enjoyed, or that, in my opinion, have been really, really strong. A lot of them have been very much like meh movies. Like, they could have been good, but then they were wasted on poorly written characters, poorly written plot points, too many jokes. Something went wrong, or like the special, like the CGI, VFX, whatever, weren't great in some projects. I will point out She-Hulk specifically, but oh, that's what's been going on in Marvel through this phase, which is, what, 4 and 5, I think, are the phases that we're currently working with. And honestly, this movie was fantastic. And I know it's not saying a lot because of the previous projects that we have gotten since Endgame, but this is probably one of the best since Endgame. It's only got like 2 or 3 movies that it really has to compete with. And so, yeah, I know that's not saying a lot, but it was so good. And it's one of the first movies in a while that has felt like old Marvel. And I know that's because it was James Gunn, and, you know, he obviously cares about the project and cares about the quality of it and cares about the characters more than he cares about the profit. So he then makes a good movie and a quality movie because he wants to, and not because, and he doesn't make the movie because he just wants to get the money and wants to, yes, we appreciate that. We appreciate people who make the movies because they love the characters, or they love the plotline, or they just care about Marvel, and so they want to make a quality movie. And I really do miss that, because Disney, as they just keep buying more things, and they just keep wanting more and more money from it, and so they're just trying to saturate the market, and that doesn't actually help anything, but they're making money from it, because we either hate watch a show or a project, or we go because we have some hope for maybe this time it'll be better, and so they're still making money off of it, and so they keep flooding the whole media with stuff. And so it's just really sad that the quality is just tanking because of that. And it's really sad, because I still love Marvel and I love these characters, and so they're bringing these characters that we love, but then it's just, they just get done dirty, and because everything is so rushed so they can get stuff out, which is why hearing that a bunch of things got canceled or delayed or whatever is actually really good news, in my opinion, because then they can actually focus on the quality of it. That being said, I still am not super excited for the Marvels, and I don't even know what's coming out in Marvel, honestly, but I'm still not overly excited for a lot of the things that we do have coming out. But the quality of this movie, it reminded me why I love Marvel, because it was so good. They definitely did a lot of fake out death, where they were just like, this person's gonna die, this person's gonna die, this person's gonna die, and then they didn't, which in the end was fine. That was probably the biggest issue I had with it, is how many times they're just like, we're gonna almost kill this character, and then we're not. Especially with all of the lead up with the trailers, making kind of leading people to believe that someone was gonna die. Sorry, major spoilers. I should do spoiler warning. But it's Marvel, I rant, especially when we have the first good movie in a while. So spoilers ahead. I'm sorry, I just spoiled the fact that nobody dies. For those of you who are watching and somehow not expecting spoilers from me at this point. But anyway. So yeah, that was the only thing where I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But it wasn't like it was done badly and like over and over and over until it's like no one can die in this film. It was fine. It was fine. It was kind of like a back burner thing where I wasn't thinking about it while I was watching the movie. But after the fact, I kind of looked back and went, huh. They made us think a character was gonna die quite a few times. And at the end with Peter in space, I honestly, for a second there, my brain went, ooh, are they actually going to do it? Are they actually going to kill someone this time? And then they didn't, which was honestly a little bit sad. I mean, I love that he got to go home and live with his grandpa for a little while and reconnect with Earth. But it would have been interesting if they had killed him off. But anyway, well, I'm skipping to the end. Let's talk about just what happened. I mean, it was a very straightforward story. The High Evolutionary, who is a great villain, by the way, just his building obsession throughout the entire movie with Rocket is incredible until it culminates and he like goes self-destructive essentially, where he's destroying his people and a little bit his own ship because everyone's starting to see like, no, you're kind of going a little bit nuts here. Like you are so obsessed with getting this one experiment that you're putting everything else that you worked for at risk. And so seeing him do his like digression into that was very cool. And Rocket backstory was also great. Like the whole thing with Batch 89, and so they give you these characters like that you get to love, and then all of a sudden we're gonna watch Rocket try to escape, fail, they all die, and then he's going, crap, I did this. And so running because he's terrified, and his anger at all of their deaths was beautiful. He literally mauled the High Evolutionary, and seeing the carnage of when they take his mask off at the end of the movie, seeing what Rocket did in his grief-driven rage outburst, whatever, was great. But yes, Adam Warlock. He was an interesting character. They played him as he's basically a child in an adult's body, because like he was grown, but then he was taken out too early, so mentally he hadn't completely developed. It was interesting. Will Poulter did great. We loved him as Eustace. He did great in Maze Runner as crap. I think it starts with a G, but I can't remember his name in Maze Runner. If you remember who his character's name was in Maze Runner, comment that, because that's making me mad. Yeah, so Will Poulter did great. I think of all of the characters in that movie, like, the writing for him was probably the weakest, just with his dialogue, which may have been kind of the point because he is supposed to be a man-child, essentially. But yeah, of all the characters in the movie, he was probably, like, the weakest character. Not physically, like, the dude is a little bit OP. Well, not exactly OP. He's a very powerful character. But just, like, as a character. And the movie was kind of he's a little bit weak, but he's still really good. It would have been interesting to see or I guess it will be interesting to see his character fully matured, like mentally, so that he can be more of a competent character. But yeah, and then Gamora coming back and being a very different character, being a very different side of her, and it was very interesting to see. And then the whole time Peter coming to terms with the fact that, yeah, you really aren't my Gamora, and him struggling to accept that throughout the entire movie because he wants so badly to get back what he had, because of how much he loved and cared about Gamora. He just wants that back because, you know, we saw how he reacted in Infinity War when he found out that she was taken from him. He punched out Thanos and sort of caused allowed him to escape, which allowed him to get the Mind Stone, and, you know, win and wipe out half the universe. Which, yeah, if he's gonna react that badly and like jeopardize half of all life in the universe because he lost one person, no doubt he wants that back. And so him struggling with accepting this new Gamora, and Gamora struggling to accept, just kind of adjust to the new time that she's in, and sort of coming to terms a little bit with her own identity, because she, you know, gets stranded with them and has to go through the whole movie with them and kind of starting to understand them as people. And it kind of helps her understand herself, I think, by the end of the movie, and accept who she is, or this new identity that she has. But yeah. And obviously, just Rocket borderline dying through the whole movie. The fact that, so yes, Adam Warlock attacks nowhere, which I kind of love their base just being, their headquarters being nowhere. And then, blah, 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 Nebula and her upgraded arm and her wingsuit, and Nebula is kind of the mom of the group in this one. Just Rocket dying. He doesn't really do anything until the last half hour, 45 minutes of the movie, because the rest of the movie he's dying. So yeah, this movie very much explored how far they were willing to go for their little family that they have created, and it's far. It's very far. They killed many people, to save Rocket's life. And dude, the emotions in this movie, even without anyone dying, were intense. There were a lot of emotions going on with all these characters, with all of the near-death experiences, with how much they were willing to risk, and how far they were willing to go to save Rocket's life. And yeah, just the relationships in this movie are just very, very great, and they have such a strong bond with all of these characters. But yes, and the High Evolutionary creating this perfect society, well, trying to create this perfect society, and playing God. He has a line near the end of the movie, before he goes completely crazy and wipes out all of the people who are starting to doubt his leadership. He freaks out on this lady, goes, "There is no God, so I stepped in." And it's such a whoa, you are an arrogant douche. And it's a great line. It kind of sums up the High Evolutionary as a character, with that single line. But yeah, this was just a very good movie, and it was a very good way to round out the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Because even though nobody dies, the original group may never be together again, which is super sad. Super sad. But yeah, Mantis just going full like monster tamer on those. What did they call them? Those obelisks or something akin to that. If you remember the name of those tentacle aliens that eat batteries, comment it, because they only said the name once and I cannot remember what it was. But just going full like monster tamer on them and go, yeah, it was kind of great. And then just going off with them to who knows where in the galaxy to discover who she is as a person, because it's like you don't realize it, but then when she says it at the end, the realization hits you that, oh yeah, she's like never been allowed to be her own person. And so she gets to go off and do that, and Nebula takes on this leader role and essentially becomes, I guess, mayor of nowhere, or whatever you would call that, which is like such a different role than how she starts. She starts as like the daughter of Thanos, who is so loyal to him because she's afraid of him because he has torn her apart and put her back together as this cyborg. And she starts as that and becomes a leader that is her goal is to now help people all across the galaxy. And she's just way more confident in herself, and seeing her grow as a character has been great in this series. And then you have Drax getting to be a dad again. Man, it's Drax's character, just like with him playing more into the comedic relief role. Sometimes you forget how much this guy's life sucked. And it's like we get him raging about his backstory in the first movie, and then as he, finds a family in the Guardians, you see him getting more into the acceptance of what happened in the second movie, but still feeling that grief, because that's not going to go away. And so we get those moments of him in the second movie, and then in the third movie, it's like he has moved on. He has accepted this new family, and he has like fully thrown himself into this new life that he has. And then seeing him with the kids, this new species that the High Evolutionary created, and showing the dad side of him again, it just brings you back to where he started in this series. And it's like the dude gets to be a dad again, because him being a dad is so great. He is such an amazing dad. Oh, yeah, it's great. And then Groot and Rocket taking the reins, man, becoming the only remaining main members of the original Guardians on the team. Oh, and Peter goes back to reconnect with his grandpa on Earth, which is great. But yes, this movie was very good. We get teasers at the new Guardians of the Galaxy, which they be a little bit OP. It's Kraglin, so he's got a whistle, an arrow he controls by whistling, and we've seen what Yondu can do with that. So once he's mastered it, the dude's a force to be reckoned with. And on top of that, we have Groot, who has, like, tripled in size? At least doubled in size since you know, how we see him throughout the movie. And then one of the High Evolutionaries, new species kids, whatever, who has powers of some kind. And then Adam Warlock, who we see the devastation he can wreak throughout the whole movie. It's just like, sheesh. The new Guardians are kind of loaded. The team's loaded. They're... goodness. But also, we should... The final shift, just as another symbol, and as more symbolism of the ending of this era of the Guardians, is we shift from the like 70s to 90s music, because I know we've kind of been going up through the decades with each movie. So this was more 90s, I think, in the middle, and was a little bit more 80s, and I think the first one started more in the 70s with the music, with the soundtrack, and then ending this movie with Rocket starting out, ending the movie with a 2000s song. And it's just like, oh gosh, that just is another punch to the gut. Because, like, that truly does symbolize the end of this era. Which, yeah. This was a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I have not enjoyed a Marvel movie as much as I did this one in a while. So... there is still hope for this franchise if they can just need to stop worrying about quantity and focus on the quality of their content again, because I don't give a crap how much content you throw out. If it sucks, I'm not gonna pay anything to watch it. And then you just lose money. And honestly, maybe they have to. Maybe they have to lose some money to finally figure out that we need to focus on quality. Because, yeah, and what was it? Star Wars kind of had to deal with that because they did the sequels and it was kind of crappy, and they are kind of leaning into quantity again versus quality, because they, you know, put out one or two good shows that people watched, and then they were just like, oh, this is great. And so they started making some more money again, and they're like, oh, this is great, money is great. And then they started putting more and more stuff out, and so we've gotten more into the quantity over quality thing again with Star Wars as well, which is really sad. But that aside, I really enjoyed this movie. I have no idea what the future holds for Marvel, since James Gunn is, you know, now off with DC, and hopefully will make that a good studio, because dang it, DC has not done great with a lot of things. Like Fury of the Gods, that was a very mediocre movie, and I will not be making a video on it just because, like, it really wasn't that good at all. Could have been good, but wasn't. But anyway, this is not about a Fury of the Gods video. But yeah, hopefully James Gunn can help the DC universe get quality and actually do justice for all these characters that I really do love the DC universe. So getting some justice done for these characters would be great. Hopefully seeing how the fans react to his last movie with Marvel, with Guardians of the Galaxy, and they see how quality equals more money because it's good, so people watch it, and they'll watch it multiple times in theaters and whatever else. And so that honestly will get you more money than quantity, and hopefully that is a bit of a wake-up call for Marvel, because I want more movies like this that are quality movies where the writing is good and the storyline is good and you build the characters up and they're actual people and they make things make sense, and they develop, and they have flaws, and they make mistakes, and they're not just cardboard cutouts and the absolute perfect person. Yeah, I want stories and characters that I can root for, and I want quality in writing and VFX and whatever. I want that back in Marvel, because that's why I loved it so much in the first few phases of the Infinity Saga, because it was just all great. It was quality. And yeah, they're letting the money go to their head, which is really sad. And it's Disney. I don't know what I expected. Like, they're out for money, it seems like, in everything that they do, because they don't even come up with original stories anymore for their own movies. They just reboot and make a live action version of it, or they come up with really, honestly, not that great stories, just these super flimsy stories that just, they aren't interesting anymore. Like, we're out for money, it seems, and all of the major studios, which is just super sad. But on the upside, we still have like DreamWorks and lesser studios making good quality movies, and they are what is keeping up my hope for the movie industry, because there are still studios out there that go for quality over quantity, and we love those studios. We need to support those studios. Support good movies, essentially. And I am rambling about this, but it really annoys me, and it makes me sad that we've gotten into a phase where these franchises and these movies that we've absolutely loved, that we've like grown up with, are just tanking in quality, and so it doesn't become enjoyable anymore. It makes me sad. So hopefully Guardians of the Galaxy 3 helps Marvel realize that quality is more important than quantity, and we can get some more good Marvel movies out of this. But yeah, there's my little rant about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and why studios, just big studios in general, are tanking in quality. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Song requests for these are covers, things to react to, watch, read, whatever. And I'll see you all next time.